In the shadowed warmth of her mother's heart, Akio sat quietly, absorbing the gentle hum of the voices around her. The village elders, faces etched with wisdom and hardship, shared stories of love, betrayal, and resilience as the night deepened. Their words, woven with humor and sorrow, began to take root in her heart, reminding her of the strength she held within. As the flames flickered in the fire pit, Akio was drawn to the words of Nanaya, a revered elder whose presence commanded respect. Nanaya spoke of the spirit of the savannah, how it endures through droughts and storms, then how its roots deepen with every challenge it faces. "We women are like the earth," Nanaya said, her voice thick with conviction. "We endure, we nourish, and we rise, no matter what scars are left upon us." Akio felt something awaken inside her. She had spent months consumed by the pain of Kwami's abandonment, questioning her worth and drowning in sorrow. Now, she felt her spirit stirring, urged on by the words of her ancestors. She resolved to take back control, to seek a path not reliant on Kwami's empty promises or the wealth he had prioritized over her. The following morning, Akio made her way to her family's farmland, the land she had poured her labor and love into before Kwami left. Though his family had tried to claim it, Akio knew that she could restore its bounty. She was determined to nurture it back to life, to reclaim her legacy. Days turned into weeks, and as Akio worked the fields, her strength grew. News of her dedication spread through the village, and others came to lend a hand. With their support, Akio's farm thrived, her fields lush with promise. One day, a messenger arrived with word from Kwami, now struggling in Europe. In his letter, he pleaded for Akio's forgiveness and asked her to support him financially, claiming he had been misled and needed her strength to find his way back. Akio read his words carefully, feeling a mixture of sorrow and pride. She thought of her journey, the woman she had become in his absence, and the bonds she had rekindled with her community. The fire of self-worth that had been reignited within her whispered that she was no longer bound by Kwami's broken promises. With a steady hand, she wrote back, offering words of forgiveness but refusing his request for money. Her wealth was in her spirit, her land, and the people who stood by her. Akio's journey was now her own, shaped by resilience and the wisdom of the savannah. And, as the final rays of the sun stretched over her fields, she knew she had found her path forward, one that no betrayal could take from her. As the dry season arrived, Akio's land flourished with unexpected resilience, its richness a symbol of her quiet strength. Villagers marveled at her harvest, the abundance seeming like a gift from the ancestors. She felt their presence as she worked, a gentle reminder that her lineage was one of strength and survival. One evening, her closest friend Ajoa came to visit. They sat together beneath a baobab tree, sharing a simple meal, watching the stars appear in the twilight sky. "Akio, you have transformed," Ajoa said, admiration in her eyes. "I remember the pain in your voice when Kwami left. But look at you now, you've built a life all your own." Akio smiled, though her heart still bore a trace of the ache from Kwami's absence. She had loved him deeply, and his betrayal had carved scars that only time and resilience could heal. But sitting there with Ajoa, she felt a peace she hadn't known in years, the quiet contentment, the kind that springs not from love, but from self-respect. "I think I finally understand what Nanaya meant about the spirit of the savannah," Akio replied softly. "This land, this life, it all keeps going, no matter the storms or droughts. It endures. Just like us." Not long after, Kwami's family sent word, requesting to meet with her. They had seen the prosperity of her fields and were eager to reclaim a part of the wealth she had created. This time, however, Akio was prepared. She met them in the village council hall, her head held high, surrounded by the elders and villagers who had supported her journey. Kwami's family tried to argue that the land was Kwami's by right, that as his wife, Akio was obligated to honor the family's claim. But Akio, drawing strength from the wisdom of Nanaya and the resilience she had learned through her struggles, stood her ground. "This land was never a part of your riches, nor does it belong to Kwame," she said firmly. "I built this with my own hands, my own labor, with the help of those who believed in me. I owe you nothing." The elders nodded in agreement, recognizing Akio's claim. Kwame's family, taken aback by her resolve, could find no ground to stand on. The people of the village knew the truth of her story, and they would defend her right to the life she had built. In the months that followed, Akio's farm continued to thrive. She became a respected figure in the village, sought after for